Hey everyone, I'm Nishagni and this is Nishagni Tarot where you receive inspired insights to create an empowered life. How are all of you doing? I hope everyone is doing great and you're having a wonderful day today. So, welcome to my new video. Today's video is going to be a little different. So, I'm going to be doing a reading using all the three decks that Kim Krantz, the creator of the Wild Unknown Tarot, has released so far. I know that she's releasing another deck, and I have an idea what the deck is because I accidentally stumbled upon it on Book Depository for pre-order. But you know what? I'm just gonna keep mum about it until Kim and team decide to reveal what it is, right? So basically, the inspiration for this video came from a particular video that I saw on YouTube where the creator of the video had done a reading using all three of Kim Krantz's decks, which I think is a fabulous thing to do because if you look online, if you're planning to buy a Wild Unknown deck, you would most often see a review or a walkthrough of a flip through of each of the decks individually but never together. And even if they are together, it's usually the tarot and the animal spirit, but the archetype deck has always been sort of a standalone flip through and detailed walkthrough in most of the videos that I've seen. And at least I'm not aware of it, except for that one video where that creator did a reading using all three decks. I'm not aware of any other video that does the same. So I decided to do my bit as well because when I was purchasing the archetypes deck in particular, I was not I was sort of on the fence for about a year before I bought this deck. But then after I saw that video by that creator who had done the reading using all three decks, I was convinced and I grabbed the first opportunity to get this deck I could. So I'm going to be doing a reading, a sample reading. It's not going to be a real reading because I'm just going to pull a card randomly and I'm just going to show you the various scenarios, situations of how you can use the three decks together. Because that's a question that I've been asked ever since I purchased this deck on Instagram. A lot of my audience members, they've been DMing me to ask, how do you use this deck with these other two decks that you have? So I thought I'm just going to do a video about that. So let's get started right away. So I'm going to be pulling a random card from each of these. And I'm just going to be exploring the scenarios in which you can use the three decks together. I'm not going to be doing a reading for the collective, but I'm just going to be showing you how we may, or the four sample spread possibilities that you could use these cards for. There are a million, but these are the four that I could think of at such a short notice. So I'm just going to clear this away first. I'm just going to pull a card for you and I'm just going to pick the very first card that I get, and which happens to be the Empress from the Wild Unknown Tarot. Okay, so we're done with one. Next, let's go ahead with the Animal Spirit. The camera is at such an odd angle that it's a little difficult for me to maneuver. All right, then we have the Bear from the Animal Spirits deck. Okay, I'm just going to rearrange that a little bit a little later. Let me just pull out the archetype card from the deck as well. And I must tell you, I was quite impressed with the archetypes deck because I never anticipated I'm going to like it this much. So all right. So what do we have here? Oh, this card is not even coming out. Okay, we have the Venom. Is this visible? Just a second. Okay. So I'm just going to rearrange this a little bit so all of you can see the cards clearly. Yep. I think this is good. All right. So now we have three cards. This is from the Wild Unknown Tarot, the Empress. This is from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck, which is the Bear. And finally, we have one from the Archetypes deck, which is the Venom. Now, I'm just gonna give you a brief of what each of the cards mean. And the Empress, as you know, is considered to be the highest nurturing energy of the tarot deck. She is I mean, although the Empress is referenced as a female, it basically refers to the abundance of life, of the cycle of life and death, and essentially of things growing and coming to fruition, of abundance, of prosperity, or the lack of it as well. So the Empress represents growth and moving forward, and also motherhood in the recent scheme of things. Although I believe that motherhood should be under the purview of the Queen of Pentacles, but modern day tarot, revisionists to perceive the Empress with a nurturing energy. Then we have the bear, which is once again a very protective, nurturing, mothering energy. It's also aggressive, but only when it needs to be, when something close to its heart is under danger. The bear also stands for hibernation, which means waiting for the right time for things to grow fruitful, of patience, of perseverance and working towards something, or rather waiting, or rather creating a particular, for example, bears, they eat a lot before they hibernate, and then they wait and the winter out. So it's sort of like preparing for the worst case scenario, but then waiting patiently with all of your resources ready. And finally, we have the venom, which is the poison, the curse, the toxins. And this could be something internal to you, that is your own feelings and emotions and your own toxic beliefs, or the toxic structures in society in the form of oppression, whether it is from the oppression of diet culture, or from the oppression of racism, or to the oppression of societal judgments. It could be a lot of different things, and it could also, and the venom basically talks of, it could also be self-inflicted pain and a refusal to heal yourself, because you sort of believe that you deserve to be punished, or that you deserve, or you don't deserve good things to happen to you. So the venom can be a really toxic thing unless it is rectified, unless it is removed, and unless you protect and preserve yourself. And when you protect and preserve yourself, which is where the energies of the Empress and the bear come in, the venom sort of detoxes from your body, and then you become whole again, you heal completely. So this is generally what the three cards stand for. Now I'm just going to explore 4 sample spread options that I have thought about for these 3 cards and how to use them together. Now the very first one is, I'm gonna be using the spread cards by the Hand Me That Pencil. She is a creator from New Zealand, and I'll be using the spread cards from Hand Me That Pencil. So the very first question I'm looking at is, for the tarot, is my reality. Then we have, for the animal spirit, the belief that harms me. And finally, for the archetype, what I need to know. Okay. So in this case, what we're doing is we'll be pulling the card for the my reality first, in which case the reality is the Empress. That is, you have this mothering, nurturing, protective energy. And the belief that harms you could be, we are using the animal spirit deck to sort of personify the internal energy that drives your decisions. Okay, this is your reality, but why is this your reality? And it is likely that the energy of the bear, that is, you consider yourself the mama bear of your family, of your friends group, and therefore you're overprotective, and because of that overprotectiveness you tend to worry a lot, and you might get controlling. So in that case, the Empress energy is sort of reversed, or sort of out of sorts, you could say. And now we know that this is your reality, and this is probably why you're doing it, but what else do I need to know about why the situation is this way? In which case we have the venom. So the venom could be that you are you have a deep-seated fear or mistrust of society. You have a deep-seated hatred for oppressive structures, and you possibly view the world with suspicion, and therefore you're worried about your loved ones and you want them to be safe, and that fear is what drives you to be controlling mama bear, and the Empress energy is thrown out of sorts. So this is one way of looking at it, where you're looking at the tarot as a reality for yourself, as to a reason why you're behaving a particular way, and the animal spirit signifies that internal energy, that personality type that is affecting this behavior. And finally, the archetype is the foundation or the scaffolding on which the belief and your actual conscious physical reality is based upon, right? So that's one way of looking at these three cards together. The next one, what we're going to be looking at is to achieve goals. So for example, you want to get into a relationship, or you want to get a new job, you want to earn more money, in which case, let's say you pull these three cards, right? So I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the my money superpower. What will test me, and the next move for me. Okay, so your money superpower is that obviously the universe is telling you that, you know what, you are destined to be rich because you are fruitful, you are abundant, your future, your fates, the way that fates are blowing, the wind is blowing, it seems like prosperity is going to come your way. But what might be the issue? So the bear, like I said, is extremely protective. The bear is also one that hibernate. So it's sort of like keeping your resources with yourself, or keeping yourself away from your opportunities, and staying in your comfort zone, because you are worried about the testing and challenging conditions outside, and so therefore you don't want to take chances, you don't want to take risks. So to me, the bear energy feels like you're not giving yourself an opportunity because you're worried that the challenge, or the winter of the bear, right, the challenge might be something that could be devastating, the risks might be too high to get out of your comfort zone. And therefore, although your money superpower indicates that you are prosperous, that you have an abundance coming your way, that fear is what will stop you. So what should you do? In this case, the venom is all about, like I mentioned, that the venom is also about where you might internalize this venom, where you might believe that you don't deserve success, you don't deserve happiness, and therefore the venom is that self-doubt, it's that lack of self-confidence, the unwillingness to allow yourself to grow and to become fruitful, like the Empress over here. And so the next move for you would be to remove that venom from your body, remove that venom from your mind, remove those seeds of self-doubt that you may have, and through that, gain that courage, gain that self-confidence, gain that empowerment to do what is necessary to earn the money that you want, to create the career that you want, to create the life that you want. So here we're looking at you trying to achieve a goal. So this is the goal that you want to achieve, the tarot. The animal spirit could either be the test. I've chosen the test because this is something that made sense to me. But you could also talk of what could be the helping factor, or the, like how I mentioned about the personality type. So the animal spirit could represent what personality trait might help you. Here we're looking at what personality trait will hinder you, but what personality trait could help you as well. And finally, the archetype could be the underlying archetype, which in this case is causing the hindrance, or the underlying archetype which will remove the hindrance and help you succeed and achieve your goal. So that's how the archetype works, because at the end of the day, the archetype is the fundamental foundation of your subconscious, of your entire personality. Whatever you're doing is because of certain archetypes that you have, and all of us have all archetypes. It's just some are more dominant than the others. So the archetype would always be the final, the base element of your personality, which you would need to address in order to bring these two into alignment. That's how I view things. So this was the second way of looking at the three cards together. Now we're going to be getting into a bit of a vulnerable territory with the third set of cards that I have planned, which is okay, I'm just gonna be, so my childhood reality, the protection that I crave, and the shame inside. So I think this is one of the most powerful spreads that many of us might want to do. Many of us might actually have been doing right now. So this essentially talks of, or rather goes back to your childhood traumas, right? So your childhood reality. Okay, so in this case, because of the way the spread is constructed, the way I view this childhood reality is that you never had a a nurturing, protective, energy, feminine energy. You never had that feminine energy in your life. You never had that protective energy, that nurturing energy in your life. You, as you grew up, you were probably stripped of whatever you needed and therefore forced to live a life which was not to your greatest good. Again, I am so sorry if this hits home. That is not my intention. This is just a random spread that I have picked up, and you can please feel free to use the spread if you want to, and if you feel like you need it, please do consult a mental health practitioner for any support that you may need. And once again, this is just a fictional spread that I just created for the purposes of this video, and I do not aim to hurt anybody's sentiments or trigger anyone in any way. So for me, in this spread, the childhood reality would be the absence of an empress figure. And because of the absence of the empress figure, the protection you crave is the mothering bear energy. Because mother bears are one of the most protective animals in the animal kingdom. And the mother bear is willing to fight with even male bears when there are cubs involved. And the male bears are statistically and scientifically proved to be much stronger, more vicious than female bears. And despite all the odds stacked against her, the female bear is willing to put her life at risk to protect her cubs. So because of the absence of the nurturing empress figure, the protection you might crave is the bear. But as you know, childhood trauma can also leave a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of hurt inside, and that shame could also be expressed in the form of archetypes, because a lot of times our archetypes develop, evolve, or go bent out of shape because of our life experiences. So the shame could be that the sense of feeling that maybe I didn't deserve a protective mothering love and therefore I was put into these circumstances. Or maybe it could be, the shame could be an intense dislike towards all those oppressive structures which remind you of the person who hurt you in the past as a child. So that shame could be represented, that shame, that guilt, that pain could be represented by the archetype cards. So that's how this spread is particularly set up. So this is one of the many spreads that you could explore as well when you're working with these three decks. And we're going to the final spread that I have pulled for the three cards together, which is my emotion. It's very similar to the previous one. What to gather and what will best help me. So the reason I have put this up, and I'm using this after the previous spread, the childhood spread, is because sometimes our traumas may make us require, it could either be we require more independence, or it could also be that we require emotional support from an external entity. And this spread in particular, the way I have set it up today is to find out what external resources can I use to help me. So as an extension, the emotional needs would be for a mothering energy, for a nurturing energy, for a protective energy. It could either be from somebody else or to feel that self-love, because a lot of times when we grow up in toxic environments, in toxic families, there's a very high tendency where we tend to hate ourselves. We tend to feel that we are less than. So it could also be that the self-love, the ability to nurture ourselves, the ability to forgive ourselves for whatever has happened, the ability to allow ourselves to grow, right? So the ability to allow our lives to flourish and to not let the past hold us back. So that could be the emotional need. And what to gather could be, once again, it could be internal or external. It could be finding someone who might help you achieve that sense of emotional equilibrium or to find that courage. It could be in the form of a mental health professional, it could be in the form of a family member, a trusted friend, it could be in the form of even our tarot and oracle cards, what to gather, right? Or our journal. So it could be a lot of things, external tools, the people who we trust, who could help us achieve this emotional need of ours and fulfill our emotional needs, right? And what can best help me once again is focuses on what you might need to let go of in order to achieve this. And to me, this card, especially with what best help me, it represents the purging of the past in order to achieve that emotional need, and in order to ensure that these external tools or these external people can truly add value to our lives. There needs to be an internal purging, that willingness to explore that pain, explore that venom once again. Although it's painful, doing so can be very cathartic and might actually help us achieve these emotional needs that we have, right? So it could be about experience, allowing ourselves to recollect what has happened, to acknowledge it and find ways, healthy ways to cope with it, healthy ways to reframe our mindsets, to become more affirmative, to become more empowering of ourselves, and purging ourselves of the venom that has built up over the years because of the toxic environment that we've lived in, because of the abuse, because of the trauma, because of our lack of emotional support, right? So this is another way that we can look at it. So if we are looking at the childhood reality spread, and then you connect it with these three again, you would probably have a holistic overview of what you might need to do next, right? Again, these are just some of the millions of spread combinations that you can work with right now, when it comes to the three cards. And I found that personally these three cards work really well together. They've been set up really well to provide that kind of 360-degree comprehensive insight into whatever question you're asking. So the way I have, of course, your method could be different. For example, you might choose to keep either the animal spirit or the archetype in the place of the tarot, where in terms of the actual actionable things that you might want to do, and the other two cards, whichever it is, could be just additional information. Either way, I have set up these cards. The tarot is the main actionable goal that we are trying to achieve, and these two are the other. This is the personality aspect that we need to address, and this is the underlying archetype, the underlying reason why our personality is the way it is, and why we are able to or we are not able to achieve our goals. Alright, so that's how I look at it. So it stems from this way, which is the bottommost subconscious mind, to the, or rather I would say unconscious mind, unconscious and subconscious, sort of both. Then this is in the subconscious realm and this is in the conscious realm, right? So that's how I have taken, that's how I use these three cards, and that is the way that you could also use it. And if you have any other way that you use these three cards together, please do let me know. I would love to try those out as well, with your permission, of course. And if you've recently bought these three decks, I hope you find value in this video. Do let me know what you think of these approaches. If you have any other approaches, please feel free to share them, and just let me know what you think of the three cards. And I hope you have a wonderful time with the Wild Unknown decks. They are truly revealing and one of the most cathartic decks that I've ever worked with, and I hope they bring you that emotional solace and physical comfort that you require in your day-to-day life. All right. Thank you so much everyone for listening. This video has been pretty long and I hope it has added value to you, and I will see you next time on Nishagni Tarot. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Trust me, the content is good. And if you haven't seen them yet, my video essays are up and they are chock full of insights, and they bring science and spirituality together, just like the Wild Unknown decks, which bring the wild with the spiritual. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.